with us on Atlantic Television Network, Blowout, everyone now. The Federal Capital Territory Minister Barrister Yesom Wike says President Bola Tinubu is not anti-Christian or Muslim, but considers all religion as one because Nigeria is one. The minister disclosed this during his inspection of ongoing renovation of the National Mosque and the National Christian Center on Thursday in Abuja. According to him, he promised to visit to the two centers to see things for himself before deciding on the next line of action. The minister, in a chat with the journalists after the inspection of the National Mosque, that was stopped due to additional work that ought to be done. He, however, expressed satisfaction with work done so far. He then gave the approval for funds to be released to the contractor to enable him to complete the renovation. On the renovation of the National Christian Center, Wike promised to look at the cost of the Phase 2 renovation project and approve it if it is within what the FCT can fund. The minister, however, pointed out that if the cost exceeds FCTA approval threshold, he may have to approach the president for approval. So he said he is not, that's President Tinubu, according to him, is not anti-religion. He takes all religion as one because we are one Nigeria. So a few days ago, during the crisis between the minister of the FCT and his protege, political protege, now the Rivers State governor, he came out to say in one of the meetings, Wike is a strong man in Nigerian politics, if you may. So a lot of persons have been going to mediate, asking him not to be offended with his boy and all meant. Alluding to the fact that yes, the president has met, but everybody wants to. They are going to follow through with what the president said, but everybody's going to. That he's also going to make sure nobody's going to take his structure from him. And several other things he has said that a lot of people have even alluded to continue threatening of Siminalayi Fubara. The question here then is, a day or so or 2 days later, he's talking about the present, painting the present in a better light. Who is Yesom Wike in all of this? Is it a man who is ready to do whatever? Because he said, even if the heaven falls. And several other statements he has made. Who should we take him to be? Is it the man who has the interests of the Rivers people or Nigerians at heart, like he has alluded to several times? Or is he a man who is just after his own interest? Because if after the president met with him and made that statement, he's still insisting on what he calls his rights, how he's funded the Siminalayi Fubara, and people expecting him to just do all of that and leave all of that on the side. So when we saw this story, we just thought, let's bring it to the fore. Who are we looking at here? Is it a man whose interest takes priority against every other person's interest, or should we be looking at someone who is neither here nor there?
Whether you like it or yes, like you rightly alluded, we have built strong men. And these strong men, who are they? Let us be factual. Who are they in reality? Some of them. Who are their parents? And what are their antecedents? Were they comrades? And when they were in school, were they religious persons at any point in time of their growth, or they stumbled into Nigerian governance, which is similarly the milk and honey structured program structure that we have built for ourselves, and they have become very relevant in the scheme of things. Either of these things are your guesses, your best guesses are your decisions to make. However, you must understand that in the present Nigerian structure today, the person of the governor, ex-governor Yesom Wike, who's the FCT minister, is one voice or one name very loud at the moment. But whether we accept it or not, I would always stress the loudness of the names of the governors of Rivers State is as a result of that which the ex-governor, the president of Sapito Dele, have been able to accrue for them. Because it is only on this state that the Supreme Court had ruled that nobody can come and investigate their financial appropriations and all. That's what I worked in the government. And until that judgment is vacated, people will just keep marrying around the system. So I think to a large extent, those are the platforms upon which the holes that the FCT minister wants to be basking on. But you must understand that these monies that people are losing, they spend for elections and all. No one of these monies are theirs. So then we do not know any business that we can say these persons are into, that are visible to human life. We do not know any business. There's no industry, there's no investment we can point our fingers to that are directly these persons. We have a pocket few of Nigerian politicians that are big weights, that have a business that we can say, okay, this is a business, whether you like it or not. 200 persons have been employed from this place, and they are living, they are planning their lives because this man chose to invest. We have people who have stashed money in different places. It is in this country we have seen money stashed in soccerways. We have seen money stashed in GP tanks and all. So whether we like it or yes, these are the kind of things we have seen. Talking about the person of the Minister of FCT, I make bold to say he is a Nigerian politician. He is fighting his own interest. What interest can he say is fighting for the people of River State? An interest that it's not the River State, the interest of the River people, which was the interest of where they voted and how they voted. What was the outcome of the interest? The interest of the River people who came out to say this is our decision on some serious issues. What were the outcomes of the interest? So whether we like it or yes, talking about structure and all, the relevance they want to play, it is just a gainsay. If I had to be his advisor, they don't have structures. Let us be factual. If they have structures, they will not force people to vote in the direction. You will not be having tank riots to say if you don't come back to vote in this direction, don't come. Is that the structure we're talking about? So
what do you think this call for? You should not tamper with my structure. I did this for it and all of what would we feel if you...
When you want to talk about the structures we are talking about, permit me to say that we are talking about the structures of the people that are elected in elective offices. Those persons that are in elective offices on the grounds of the fact that they came into the office, and those of us that were on the field will still have our reservations because we don't want to go into issues that people say, oh, the court has said, the court has not said. But we know what transpired in our elections. We were visible observers. We were on ground. And because of the system, we must respect authorities. Does not mean that you not be docile and you not be a dummy. But if these are the structures you're talking about, they have already collapsed. They should not be pretentious. It's just that we are looking at a system where tomorrow there was the voter party. Nobody that is in the same mind will come out and say because they are doing the campaign tomorrow. There is an INEC somewhere to say they want to do one thing. Let's come out. People will sit in their home. When you finish your tenure, if you like to say you want to sell the country, sell the country. After all, your children will still be sold. If you say you want to do something for the country, you do it because so far so good. It's not. They have made it obvious that it's not what the people they are not even part of the parcel of their programs and their plans. So talking about whether it's not fighting for the people or for himself, it's a categorical for self fight for me, and that is my own stand and my personal opinion, anyways.
Right, thank you, sir. Let's move on. The House of Representatives has called on the Inspector General of Police to set up a crack team to conduct a holistic investigation to unmask the cartel behind the dangerous trend of killing of young girls for ritual purposes and bring them to justice. This followed a motion which was brought before the House plenary under matters of urgent public importance by Honorable Awaji Inombek Abiante from Rivers State. Leading the debate on the motion on Abiante noted the recent wave and sustained killings of young girls who are mostly undergraduates by their supposed boyfriends for ritual purposes, including the recent murder of 20 years old Miss Justina Otwene, an undergraduate student of the Department of Biochemistry, University of Port Harcourt, by Damian Okoligwe, who is also an undergraduate student of the same university last week, amongst other killings. The lawmaker expressed worry that these killings have almost become a daily occurrence, with several other reported cases of missing females with their whereabouts still unknown, noting that few of the reported missing victims are often found dead without traces of the perpetrators. He said it is disturbing that these killings take similar patterns of dismembering the bodies of the victims whereby their vital organs are removed. The House observed a minute of silence for victims of the killings, as well as mandated the Committees on Police Affairs and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. Here is a report.
The need to curb the dangerous trend in the killing of young girls for rituals, because we don't know who will be the next victim. This House notes the recent wave and sustained killings of our young girls, who are mostly undergraduates, by their supposed boyfriends for perceived ritual purposes. The House also notes with dismay the recent murder of a 20-year-old girl, Ms. Justina Otuene, an undergraduate student of the Department of Biochemistry, University of Port Harcourt, by one Damian Okoligwe, who is also an undergraduate student of the same university, just last week. The mother of Augusta Osedion, a final year student of Leeds University, in July 2023 by her boyfriend, Benjamin Best, who goes by the nickname Killer Boy. This happened in Lagos. The mother of Ms. Ogeni Fejiro Ochuko, a final year student of Ambrose Ali University, who was equally killed in August 2023 by her boyfriend, Victor Ochonugo, in Benin, and several other unreported cases.
Comrade, this situation is actually something that has to be looked into, and I'm seriously impressed that the Assembly, they are actually National Assembly, they're actually bringing this to bear, and that's really expected of them. At least it's not just to do the talking; the action also should follow. But let's actually look at the trend that is really playing out this time around. What can be responsible for these incessant happenings concerning the killings of especially females with respect to actually what happened recently?
You see, these are very trying times for Nigerians, or very difficult situations for us to analyze, because we want to analyze one particular issue and there are pictorial of them connected and interwoven in different manners. Now, I think it's even appalling that after this state has occurred, we are talking about the legislature looking at an issue and trying to raise a bill or mandate the police to do a job on a serious issue of this nature. We have seen young men sit in public place eating feces. We have seen people caught in different places doing very funny things, unimaginable things, and at the end of the day, these things are just they just make the TikTok handles. You want people that are cashing out from possible TikTok, cash out from TikTok. People that are bloggers just blog, and we move on like it's nothing. I make bold to say that this is a country that someone was far away in another country, and the investigations were being made. The person was tracked and possibly kidnapped. By local balance analysis, you say the person was kidnapped from the other country back to Nigeria. Then in this same Nigeria, somebody would dismember a person. People just go missing, and when these issues, after a while, it just fizzles out like nothing happened. One thing you would ask yourself: what is the root cause of this ritual killing? Now, firstly, there are people who arrogate to themselves supernatural powers that with the blood or body parts of some people, they can make things work. Be them native doctors, be them funny imams, be them funny prophets, as the case may be. Whatever spiritual angle they take, they are human beings that have been able to make these young men believe that they can make spiritual wealth or make wealth come to the fore by this means. And what is leading people to this end? We are in a country where there are no industries. Nigerians are fleeing this nation in droves. And as they are landing in places, there are some people, some nations that are telling you that there's a job. It's just that it's the kind of job. Are you going to be able to do it? These jobs are just there. Countries have been able to evolve and program themselves in a manner where people can just know that if you're not lazy, you can survive. But today, in Nigeria, we find ourselves, the most intelligent of us, the most astute of us, the most educated of us are being governed, are being ruled by people who do not even have certificates, people that are not, they don't even know who they are, people who have questionable, everything about them are questionable. This is the kind of country we find ourselves. We are seeing drug peddlers become everything in this country and have been the ones running the shows. At the end of the day, people, the younger generation have begun to see that this is the path to follow. And a country where both age and morality is not anything to talk about, but all that we care and respect is money. Everybody must do everything he or she wants, we can do to get money. More so for the younger generation, the sexual escapades must be contained and checked. You see a young lady be dismembered by 4 friends, by 5 friends, ask yourself, the sexual escapades must be checkmated. They must tell themselves some very funny truth. Is this thing really paying out as the painting to be paying for us? Because if it is not, then you must be able to pattern your life and look for a way out. However, it's a difficult advice to make because someone that is hungry is an angry person, and an angry person does not think proper. And so many times I see Nigerians screaming on top of their voices. It's not because they don't have manners, but because they are confused. And the system, there lies no hope even going forward. This is a country where we are, in the midst of all of this, our president came out to tell us, I know that the price of goods are going up, people are suffering, but there's nothing we can do. And what do you want us to do on the lower rung? So whether we like it or yes, I think it is pertinent and important that the security agencies must look at serious issues of this nature, bring to the fore, when you arrest such pastors, prophets, imams, native doctors, herbalists, anything they call themselves, before you start talking of your personal, because they have their ways of telling you how they can equally solve your personal problem, and before you know, investigations are blowing into the thin air. We should look for we should look at a society where the next person that might die might be a brother, might be a sister, and if that consciousness is in us all, we will not show selfish interest to the gutters and do the needful to track the right course for going forward.
There is an angle you touched on a bit I'd like you to also look at again, which is the root causes of some of these things. When we're growing up, we heard of Ezego. We heard of all kinds of ritual killings. Now, this was condemned in total. We had Christendom at the point where they were genuinely interested in the soul of the followers of the religion. Morality basically was a big deal. You just talked about sex escapade. Someone was condemning the 20-year-old girl. She's an adult in Nigeria, standard by the way, for having a boyfriend or going to her house. Someone was condemning, they'll say, oh, why would what does the boy want to do with? But on several other avenues, because we're talking about a 400 level Unipost student and it's 300 years, because it was found out. That is why we're having this conversation, isn't it? How did we get here? With the number of churches, with almost every state and every corner, you have the early morning alarm of the Muslim mosque, preaching and teaching about God, morality, and what have you. With the Christian, from Facebook to all social media platforms, people are doing like, what are the comrade? If I am a prostitute and I'm making money and I'm also a Christian, I will still go to church and give tithes and offering and I will be accepted. In fact, if I'm doing well, prostituting or doing rituals or anything, and I drive big car, I'm respected more in the church. It doesn't matter what it is. Where did all of this emanate from? If all of this is coming, people are coming from home every Sunday morning, still we go to church in this country. You will think that Jesus is coming back that Sunday morning. But in all of this, we still find ourselves here. The National Assembly members are talking about what should be done. Can we begin to talk about addressing the root causes and how we got here?
I would want to tie this question you asked with the statement of the Minister of FCT, saying that the president is not anti-Muslim, Christian, or the Norwegian, the Holland government shut down some prisons, about 30. It's closing down some prisons. And why is it closing down those prisons? Because there are no criminals. There are no people in there. But these people are far less religious as we are. And like you clearly observe, it is not about going to church, or it's not about saying, it's not whether the mosque, because some people say every 5 poles will be the church. Some people say every 5 poles should have a mosque. Everybody should be there. This is not it. What are you spewing out from that place, and what is your posturing in that place you find yourself? Is it that people are coming there, and when you come in, you see people on isolated or seats because they are wealthy, or you see people sitting on isolated seats because they have been able to prove themselves to be morally conscious and be spiritual carriers of some things, of a level of graces? Now we're talking about a systemic failure. It's not about an individualistic thing. Whether you like it or yes, it's because the systems are falling apart. The systems are not rising up to occasion. Now we look at the church. What is the church in the first place? He said they were first called Christians in Antioch. What is Christianity? They were Christ-like. How can you consciously look at yourself or look at your neighbor and say he has some similitude of Christ in him or her? Because a lot of fighters, a lot of crazy people, delinquent, funny people are claiming to be Christians, all because of maybe they are able to go to, they affiliate themselves to a gathering, and that is what it is. The same thing goes to the Muslim community. You say you're a Muslim and you want to kill everybody on the grounds of religious beliefs, and say some persons are infidels, forgetting that the same God that created you created them, and you say they are humans like you are. So what I would like you to hear is these are systemic failures, because our systems have not been able to address serious issues. Now the Nigerian government is spending money to go and renovate the National Christian Center, the National Mosque. They are spending money. How many industries are functional? We know what Intel was doing in this country at some point in time, and how many people Intel employed, and what the salary structure was like. But for one reason or the other, of some draconian policies and all, many companies have shut down. With the way the economy is going, more companies are shutting down. Only the very wealthy people in this country who have little or no business being wealthy, but because they are politicians, because that is the most lucrative business in Nigeria today. Because they are all politicians, amassing to themselves the common propagation money. These are the reasons why everybody wants to step up. Everybody wants to meet up, and everybody wants to meet up in whatever means, through whatever process. And that is the reason why you are seeing, even imagine talking about, I think with the course of investigation, that young girl dated that guy for the process. She got to her first 100 level for 3 years dating.
Yeah.
That's the started dating at the age of 17. So what are we talking about? Even parenting has now been outsourced to the society. And what is society? The social media, the public space. That's the society. And funny 18, people that have the opportunity and the rare privilege like myself to be on public places that I used to speak, we all want to be politically correct. You come to a place, you hear people tell you of they have a sweetener for one thing, they have one thing to sell. You now ask yourself, what are you? And the person has some level of spirituality, says some level of spirituality. I tell them, that demon in you cannot even fight my physical body. How much more the spirit of God I think I have? Because it's a demon that is inside of you. Because when you want to start to destroy society on account of your spiritual capacity and a little knowledge that you've got, it should be considered and should be told to you directly, face off, like this cannot be God. Whether you like it or not, be it from the Christian angle, the traditional angle, or the Islamic angle, this is what it is. I think it's high time we stop all this charade of pilgrimages being funded by government, church buildings, and all being funded by government, religious centers being funded by government in the name of mosque and all. But we should not be thinking of how we can now sit down and map out a national plan for economic growth, which can only be done with a replication of what we have in the NLNG in Bonny. We should be thinking of replicating these things. Gas is not the direction the world is going. We have a vast level of gas in our country. What are the process of making sure that the contract for gas plant to be built are transparent, and we are looking at ensuring that we have a large network of it scattered all over the country for the future. We should be thinking this way, not sitting down and thinking of how to borrow money and share money, thinking how we are going to keep building our empire in our evil and all of that. Because so far so good, the root cause of all of this are leadership failure, systematic failures, and I must tell you, more so even the religious failures.
All right, let's quickly run through this. Chairman House of Representatives Committee on National Security, Honorable Salome, has emphasized the need to deepen international collaboration, stressing that it is fundamental to addressing insecurity in the country. Salome made this known at the inaugural meeting of the committee in Abuja. The lawmaker, who acknowledged unique challenges faced by the country in the realm of national security and intelligence, observed that the world is evolving at an unprecedented pace with emerging technologies, global interconnectedness, and a complex geopolitical dynamics redefining the very nature of security. He stressed the need to adapt and transcend traditional approaches to safeguarding the country, expressing that understanding of national security must be broadened to encompass multifaceted dimensions that impact on citizens' lives. The chairman pledged to promote a culture of openness where the Nigerian people can be informed and engaged in matters of national security, and promised to ensure that intelligence agencies operate within the bounds of the law and that citizens' rights are protected. This conversation cannot be overemphasized, but let's bring the report and we'll come back to you, comrade.
The same narrative that we uploaded the unique challenges of our nation, lack of national security and intelligence. The world we live is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Emerging technologies and global interconnectedness and complex geopolitical dynamics in defining the very nature of our security in this rapidly changing landscape. We must not only adopt, but also transit the traditional approaches to safeguard our nation. Not only looking at the Vatican feast only, this time around, we must ensure we achieve both vertical and horizontal feasts jointly together. While the preservation of our physical security remains paramount, we must broaden our understanding of our national security to encompass the multifaceted dimension that impact our citizens' lives. Here, the concept of security extends beyond borders and military minds. It encompasses economic stability, cyber welfare, environmental resilience, social cohesion, and the protection of our democratic institutions.
What's really happening here, comrade? Our need to collaborate with the international community. Sometimes you ask yourself, every time we always seek this collaboration, you ask yourself, have we really ultimately or maximize the mechanisms or the facilities we have here as a country? Why do we always think that running abroad to seek for help is the only way out of any situation, including that of security? We've been buying arms and all of this, yet the other day, Bono State Governor was still complaining that they need to do something, otherwise Boko Haram can run us off the map. So,
I think for me these are just rhetorics, and let it be that we went to work. For me, let the media have something to say that the legislature is doing a job. International collaboration in security, the extent of security, I think all of these are laid down in the bilateral relations that Nigeria and every other nation has within themselves. From 2009, when the insurgency began to raise its head up until now, I believe that we have had international collaborations at different fronts. But another thing we should ask ourselves as a people is, are we really sincere and sure that we want to do this with international organization or community? Because it's not enough to say we should have international collaboration, and at the end of the day, when international collaboration gives us the so-called collaboration, how do we respond to them? Now I take us to memory lane. There was a Waduma who killed 4 senior security operatives and dragged their bodies in public glare. It was videoed. And at the end of the day, the Nigerian Police Intelligence Force, these are people of the IG Punishing Team, Nigerian Police Intelligence Force tracked him down, arrested him, but he was equally helped by a major of the Nigerian military at some point in time. And when people clamored for the major's name to be shown and all, when the kingpin was arrested, he began to sing all those revelations he made. How far? Now we have been able to be assisted in one way or the other, and we have gathered in the commanders of the Boko Haram, over 53 of them. At the eve, twilight of the elections, the Kuje Revolutionary Center was attacked, and all the generals or commanders escaped. And from investigation, we were made to understand that there were security breaches here and there, as people did not resume what they should have resumed. People were called off from duty and all of that. Now, I want to ask you, is it enough to come out to say, we'll be run down by this security, this terrorist of sort, when as a people we have refused to do the needful? The ones we have arrested and caught, what have we done with them? The ones who have said that they are repentant and they have brought them back into the system, how well have they cooperated with the system to give us the needed information? We are not a country that are serious. This is a country that we have found out people that were sabotaging our national mainstay in our crude. The Statistical Security Services brought out the list of directors and the companies that were sabotaging the process. Today, they sent those names to the federal government. Up until date, not one person has been prosecuted. No one name has been listed out. It was in the same country that you talk about international collaborations. Interpol gave us names and list of people who are supposed sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria. And the federal government of Nigeria came out to make a bold statement saying that they're not going to shame them in public there, but they will shame someone that falsified jam results and all. What are we trying to talk about? We are in a country that have yet to be serious. We will pretend that everyone wants to be politically correct. We want to come to public space and say I'm doing my job, but we know where the bulk of the problem lies. We know where the issues are, and the issues are in our leaders, the issues are in our governors, who are not either they don't have the political willpower to do it, or they are part and parcel of the corrupt system, and they have chosen to throw a deaf ear or pay a deaf ear, a blind eye to it. And whether we like it or not, unless these attitudes are changed and the systems are begin to function as systems, we'll continue to run around this path.
All right, thank you, sir. Once again, let's get straight to the next conversation. The presidency states its position on the trending news of 5 billion naira listed for presidential yacht in the supplementary budget is for the Nigerian Navy and not for President Bola Tinubu as widely believed. The explanation was contained in a statement signed the Special Advisor to President Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, on Thursday. In a statement said, what was named as presidential yacht in the budget is an operational naval boat with specialized security gadgets suitable for high-profile operation inspection and not for the use of the president. Recall that the House of Representatives had removed the 5 billion naira budgeted for presidential yacht from the 2023 supplementary budget. I'd like to bring you in here to have your take on this.
Very quickly and very importantly, what are we talking about a yacht for the Navy? Even if it's for the Navy, and if it's for the Navy, a budget, when you're sending the budget, why was the word or the phrase used there as presidential yacht? Now you're coming to explain to the representatives that it's not a presidential yacht for the Navy. Look, we can pretend for what there is. The luxury life of the political class, it's staring us in our face. The kind of the things that are important to our government stares us on in our face. We can choose to applaud it. We can choose to condemn it. We can choose to call them to reason. We can choose to bring their consciences to life. We can equally choose to fold our hands. It is the Nigeria that we all have called. But I can bet us that if we continue to toe this path, one day we'll wake up and there will be no this Nigeria will be no more. Because where are we going to be engine whatever we're going to be? The frivolous living or the frivolous lifestyle of governance. What are we going to be engine it? We are still talking about the presidential yacht. One of the allegations being given to the ex-governor of River State is that the private jet of River State is being used by the ST being used by the ex-governor. What are we talking about? We are living the political class of this country are living so flamboyantly with reckless abandon. And when they come out, they still have delinquent people lining up the streets to cheer them up. And these things is what funds their ego, and they will continue on this path. I want to tell the part of the House of Representatives by expunging it completely. If what the Navy has with all the guys that they have, they cannot function, let us file it for 5 billion naira. We should be thinking of how we can think of how we can work out an industrialized part of this country. Let a part of this country be functional when it comes to industry. It will not only create jobs and generate employment, but it will only equally lift up, boost our economy, and give our naira a facelift. We are diving on a daily basis, and what we are talking about is the frivolity and comfort of people that claim to say, somebody will come here tomorrow as an officer, I want to explain and justify these things. But let us be realistic.